The One Piece TCG is full of so many amazing, beautiful cards, but let's not sugarcoat it. It can be a little confusing and overwhelming for newcomers who are stepping in for the first time, trying to figure out what's worth holding on to, investing in, collecting, and all that sort of stuff, which is why I thought, guys, in today's video, we would laser focus in on the one type of rarity in the One Piece TCG where I think it matters probably the most. We're going to be talking about SPs, that's right, guys. And the One Piece SPs are also a little confusing because there's different types. There's so many different types of SPs out there. So guys, in today's video, we're going to be looking at all the SPs. We're going to be looking at the list that I've made for them, talking about the prices, talking about price speculation, talking about what's worth collecting, helping you understand how to navigate the One Piece market so that you can get the cards you want. So guys, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And real quick, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot, who sent me a dual motor E6 standing desk. And for someone who spends a lot of time at a desk handling cards, filming, and setting up displays, strength and stability actually matter. The FlexiSpot E6 uses dual motors that can lift up to 330 pounds effortlessly. And yes, I don't weigh 330 pounds, haha. It's been tested to withstand over 20,000 high impact cycles. It also has a tensile strength of 28,000 PSI, which surpasses steel in endurance, meaning it's built to handle serious weight and long-term use. And that matters when your desk is holding slabs, binders, sealed boxes, camera gear, lights, and collectibles. Even under a heavy load, the E6 stays rock solid. No wobble, no shaking, even at maximum standing height. Whether I'm laying out cards, filming close-ups, typing, or bumping the desk, everything stays steady and secure, which is huge when you're working around collectibles. FlexiSpot backs the E6 with a 10-year warranty on the frame and motor, plus 2 years on the control panel and electronics, showing strong confidence in long-term durability. Overall, the FlexiSpot dual motor E6 standing desk feels powerful, stable, premium, and built to last, especially if your desk doubles as a collector's workspace. Our standing desk adjusts from 24.4 inches to 50 inches, accommodating users of all heights, from 3 feet 2-inch kids to 6 feet 5-inch adults with ease. So if you're looking to upgrade your desk or your entire workspace with high-quality ergonomic furniture, which includes chairs, storage, and accessories, check out FlexiSpot today. Use my link down in the description below. Seriously, it's a game changer. So guys, there's going to be a lot to digest in this video if you're new here, but obviously if you are aware of SPs and stuff like that, it's still going to be valuable information. I'm going to be telling you what I think are probably the best SPs to collect. We're going to be going down the list. Some are going to be obvious, some not so much. So I do think this is going to be a really valuable video for most people. Yeah, guys, just to start things off. So there's a couple of different ways to think about rarity in the One Piece TCG. On the one hand, we've got the packs, right? The boxes, the cases. You buy the cards, you open them, you pull some good stuff. And then on the other hand, we've got the regionals, we've got the treasure cups, we've got basically the trophy cards where you have to participate in the game to get certain cards. We're not going to focus on those today. We're mainly focusing on SPs, which you can pull from packs, okay? So that'll just kind of help separate a little bit of confusion there. But so when it comes to the packs, guys, there's a lot of different types of cards you can get. You can get alt arts, you can get SPs, you can get mangas, you can get secret rares. There's a lot going on. The two types of rarity that you can pull from the One Piece packs are the SPs, which are known as special parallels. I personally like to call them special prints, and the manga chase cards. So the manga chase cards are obviously the most difficult to get. They're a lot more rarer to pull from cases. A case is 12 booster boxes. Not every case is guaranteed one. When it comes to special parallels, or I'm just going to call them SPs or special prints. I like special prints better. Special prints, it's usually 1 to 2 per case. So it's a lot rarer, but there's a lot of variety here. And I personally think they're just a lot more beautiful. And I want to quickly just use my 2 cards here as an example of the differences between the mangas and the SPs. I really do love the manga cards in the One Piece set, and don't forget, they are very hard to pull. But we can't deny the SPs just add a new flair to these cards. They're more textured. They've got a nice glisten on them. I really like the SPs a lot more, and that's actually where we're going to start off, guys. We're going to start talking about the gold and silver SPs first. So, and by the way, there's like 8 or 9 different types of SPs, so bear with me. So with the gold and silver SPs, these are the cream of the crop SPs. If you pull these, it's basically the equivalent of pulling a manga in the SP world. We're talking the gold and silver Luffy, Gear 5 Luffy from OP11. We're talking about the OP14 gold and silver Buggy from the latest set, the gold and silver Blackbeard from OP12, the not so great set, And of course, OP13, the legendary Carrying On As Well set. We've got the gold and silver Shanks. Now, guys, these cards are absolutely fantastic, and I'm just going to say it off the bat. This might be the most obvious part of the video. Everything else is going to get really interesting. But, guys, the gold and silver SPs are just amazing-looking cards. The texturing's great. And more specifically, when we compare the gold and silver cards to the price of... I'm sorry. I had to do that. We're not actually serious there. But, no, straight up. The gold and silver SPs, cream of the crop. Some of the best cards you can get, some of the nicest looking SPs if you ask me. The Shanks is beautiful, but obviously the Luffy cards are peak right now. And we can see here the most recent sale was $12,000 from a tag mint 10. But of course, if you want near mint foil, you're looking at about $4,000 or $5,000, probably $6,000. Luffy, peak. Luffy is the main character. Obviously, it's going to be expensive. I would say Shanks is probably the second best bet. Buggy is kind of really high right now, but I think it's because OP14 came in when this big boom's happening. So I do think he's a bit inflated, and I think Blackbeard is underinflated, actually, if you ask me. But he is starting to go up a little bit, but I also think he's a misunderstood character. I don't think people value him. But anyways, we're gonna move on from here. We're gonna go down the list to the next thing now. So the gold and silver are on top of the SPs. So the second rank of SP rarity, I would say, in the One Piece TCG. So moving down the list, guys, I would argue the second rarest type of SP in the One Piece set are the EBO2 gold leader cards. Now, yes, they're leader cards, but they're special print. They've got a gold look to them, and this is the only set where they introduced gold leaders, as far as I'm aware. And the chances of you pulling some of these cards is actually really, really hard. So, like, not only do you got to buy a very specific set to pull these type of cards, that's what makes this a really interesting pick for the top rarities, because you can only get them from the EBO2 set. And by the way, the EBO2 set had ridiculously poor pull rates. So getting some of these cards is incredibly difficult. And not to mention, it's the only type of leader SP as well. So I definitely think the gold leader cards are incredibly rare. I do think they're really worth the buy, even if some of them are underpriced. And not to mention, by the way, there's a lot of people who put money into their decks. This is one way to do it. Now, obviously, I don't really know how relevant or good these cards are for the meta right now, because there's a lot going on and power creeps, but there are people who will pay good money to get these leader cards for their decks. So keep that in mind. So moving on to the next type of SP, I like to call these the abstract background SPs. So these are the SPs you're probably more aware of. They've got the really nice background and design. We've seen quite a few varieties of these SPs. There's a lot of them out there right now. I personally think these are some of the nicest SPs in the One Piece TCG. Even if you don't own the gold or silver SPs, I think if you have a couple of these, they're incredibly beautiful. You know what I'm talking about. There's so much texturing on these cards. They're really nice to look at. If you can get them in a slab, especially tag slab, I really, really think the tag slabs are really nice. You know what? Just for the sake of the video. So, as you can see here, I've got a tag slab of an Ami SP, and I mean, like, it's just so nice, man. I really, really love these type of SPs. Long term, I think these are going to be great holds, just because, like, they're truly pieces of art. Like, look how far away this goes, right? And you can still see detail and design from the reflection. So I do think that really matters. I got the Enel SP as well. I mean, I just think tag really sells it. I really am a big fan of the tag slabs. You just look at the card. You just appreciate the card a lot more. But I really do think these type of SPs are going to do really well long term. Now, obviously, they don't all come the same because, like, listen, okay, it's One Piece. The main characters are going to do well. Waifu tax matters, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. And remember, you know, the pull rates for the SPs is quite low. And that's including all of these. But the gold and silver ones especially are pretty difficult to get to. I believe if you buy a case, got around a 20% chance of pulling one of the gold or silver cards. Now, that was for OP13, I believe. So keep that in mind. I haven't really looked at the recent pull rates and stuff for the latest sets, but it could be the same across the board. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, really great cards. Really, I do think these are worth the buy. But, I mean, look at this. The price of this boa is about $1,000. I think this is probably the most expensive SP with the abstract background, if I'm not mistaken. But that's waifu tax for you guys. All right, moving on. This type of SP, I like to label them as the gold trim SPs. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You know, we're talking this SP Shanks here. We're talking this incredible looking Charlotte Pudding SP from PRBO2. I mean, both these guys are from PRBO2, which, by the way, one of my favorite sets, had so many great cards. We had this Rebecca here, which was also a gold trim looking card, and you know, I feel like I don't take the opportunity to show off my cards often, so I should like do it right now. Hold on. Yeah, so as you can see right here, these type of SPs, they're really, really nice, and they've got like a bit of a gold kind of texturing to them. I do kind of like to categorize them a little differently because they just seem different from compared to a lot of the other SPs. But in all seriousness, guys, I do think these type of cards hold a lot of weight. Again, we're going back to the texturing. They look super beautiful. The gold trim adds a nice flair to these type of cards. There's quite a few of them. They're really hard to pull, and they just look super great. Now, we're obviously going to talk about these monochrome looking types of cards too that also have a bit of a gold trim, but we're going to save that for a little bit down in the video because, again, there's just so many different types of SPs here. But these are solid buys. I do think if you can get them for a good price, they're totally worth it. We even seen these with the EOP14 EBO4 set. You know, this Zoro has a gold trim to it. This card's literally worth $1,250 right now. You know, I recently got the Weevil EBO4 card. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a gold trim as well. And these are interesting too because these are like a combination of like full arts and gold trims. So, you know, it is a little confusing, but there is a style to all these. But anyways, really great cards. But remember, keep in mind, the characters matter. All right, so what's next? Okay, so let's move on to the full art SPs. I like these SPs because these SPs are normally, you know, showing the characters in a situation in the world, right? It's not just like a abstract background. It's showing the character in a moment, which I really treasure and appreciate, and I think these cards are really beautiful cards. They're great art pieces as well. Now, not all of these SPs come with the craziest texturing. Like, I've got this Uso Hachi card from Wano here, and as you can see, it's really nice to look at, right? It's a really nice looking card, but I'll be honest with you, when you actually get a close look at it, the texturing, it's okay. Like, there's not a whole lot going on there, but it's still a beautiful card nonetheless, and, you know, I really wanted to get this card because if you've watched Wano, it was just like a fun thing there. No spoilers, of course. And going back to the abstract backgrounds, I've got the Sanji here as well. I mean, just the difference in the texturing is just phenomenal, right? Now, again, keep in mind, you know, there's only 1 to 2 per case, so these are pretty difficult to come by. Not too difficult, but, you know, they're still really, really pretty cards. But back to the full arts. I think the full arts are just great cards to have and hold. I do think these are just beautiful art pieces. Comparing them to the other cards, obviously every card we're going through is a little less, I think, as valuable, but art and value is in the eye of the beholder, right? So I do think these are really nice cards. If you can get them, I do think they're worth it. They are kind of starting to go up in price a bit, but, you know, do what you can with these cards. So this is more of an honorable mention because this type of SP is pretty unique, but I do see them kind of introducing this portrait style looking SP with EBO3. So we're going to look at that here. But as you can see, you know, we've got these very specific Kingdoms of Intrigue SP cards. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that this Boa SP is the first SP, or was one of the first to surpass the manga card in a set. Now, obviously, this was a very special set, and I'm very thankful to have 4 out of 5 of these cards. I do not have Boa, but these portrait-style SPs are gorgeous. I just think that the Kingdoms of Intrigue set in general is just a really nice set, and I kind of want to relate it to the EBO3 set. Where is that? EBO3 set right here, because we're seeing these portrait-style SPs. I think these SPs are really nice as well. I think the prices of these are going to be insane because waifu tax. I mean, come on. But, yeah, really, really pretty cards, and obviously this Boa is super expensive. It's like $1,000. This is more of an honorable mention, but it's still relevant. It is a unique kind of style, but I wanted to include it in this. So, and by the way, this Whitebeard card gives me nightmares. Straight up paralysis demon in the middle of the night just staring at me. Just being like, la 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 la. Okay, that was cringe. All right, let's move on. So, guys, wanted posters. Wanted posters are super cool, super unique SP in the One Piece TCG. Obviously, if you watch the show, you've been reading the manga, wanted posters are very relevant. They help readers understand like the power dynamics in the show, who's stronger, who's most wanted by the world government. all that sort of stuff. And they're just really cool looking cards. Now, I wanted to mainly focus on these two because they're the most expensive. Of course, Gear 5 Luffy on anything just seems to do well. This is the most expensive wanted poster because it's iconic. And of course, we've got the wanted Ace, but this is actually doing really well because it's a pre-errata card. So when they released these wanted posters in OP13, they actually made an error print with the description or the detail of the card. So that immediately made it valuable, and pre-errata cards are super interesting, and the fact that a mistake can turn into something valuable is interesting, right? But just taking a look at the Buggy wanted poster, I mean, they're super nice. I mean, it's a very relevant piece of work from the show, and there's not too many. I'm definitely excited to see the characters that they bring into the TCG down the road. I just think these are a great set to hold. But yeah, so let's now move on to these really interesting looking cards. So we've got a combination of these monochrome looking cards with also like the gold trim. So if you were getting cards from OP12, you probably remember these really nice looking monochrome SPs. And then with OP13, they kind of brought in these they kind of like doubled it up. They went from just the monochrome look to we're going to have the characters on. There's a gold trim. I mean, like, they just keep advancing the SPs. But I do think these are really beautiful SPs. I was super lucky to pull the Luffy SP from OP13. And I mean, you can see what I'm talking about. We've got that gold trim, but it's still got that monochrome look. I think these are really, really beautiful cards. And of course, the Luffy one specifically is doing the best. Let's take a look at them real quick. Yeah, I mean, this card is going for $775 US, which is insane, because when I pulled this, I thought it was only going to be like a $200 card Canadian. So it's just insane seeing the prices do what they've been doing. But obviously, Luffy being on this SP increases its value tremendously. I do think these SPs in general are really, really nice. And, next to these just simple monochrome looking cards, I think these are great looking cards as well. But there's something really unique and nice about the flair of these type of SPs. But anyways, guys, with that all being said, I think I've pretty much gone through the main list of SP cards here. Let me just double check my list. Yeah, no, for the most part, that is pretty much it, guys. I apologize if I missed something. There is just a lot to digest here, but I kind of wanted to do a thorough look at these type of SPs, for your benefit. And of course, if you're new here, now you have a lot of very valuable information that you can use to navigate the One Piece TCG market. But anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know in the comments below which type of SP is your favorite, and a video should pop on the screen. Be sure to click it, and I will see you over there.